determination to win was still there.
We want to make some NHRA history, and the only way you do that is by winning championships.
You don't ask Bobby Unser when you can do it when he's the boss.
I'm not going to have to punch a time card the rest of my life. This is what I want to do, and I think I can make a living doing it.
If I don't get in that, and I don't live it, well, then you're not going to win.
It is one of the iconic vehicles in the high-rolling world of Monster Jam. But it didn't start that way. Dennis Anderson's goal was to build the biggest, baddest truck in town. How the product of that hot rodder passion came to be called Gravedigger is a story in itself. A Monster Jam pioneer, Anderson has observed, often led, and sometimes marveled at the evolution of fat-tired car crushers, from tractor pull novelty into the main attraction at Monster Jam, one of America's best attended and most lucrative forms of motorsports. Modern-day Monster Jam events fill dozens of stadiums and arenas every weekend, with capacity crowds and loyal fans madly in love with this kind of outrageous action. Thanks to that crazy schedule, there are now multiple versions of the famous family Monster Jam truck, and a second generation of the famed Anderson clan now follows in the footsteps of their carnage-driving father.
If you're not quite sure about monster trucks, if you don't know if this is competition or maybe just showbiz, we're about to have the opinion of an expert. If you know all about monster trucks, you're about to meet one of the pioneers and giants of the sport, the creator of the legendary Gravedigger. Dennis Anderson, great to have you here. Thanks for your time.
Hey, it's an honor to be here, especially with you, Dave.
Well, thank you. I love to kind of start at the beginning. Where did the idea come from for you to get involved and become a monster truck star?
Honestly, you know, back in the day when I was a kid, there was no monster trucks, and it was just my passion was tractors, big tires, and four-wheel drive trucks. So I kind of combined them all together in a simple way by digging things out of the scrapyard and off the heaps of the farm that I worked on. And being the guy on the farm that had the biggest, toughest truck that would go through the most mud, you know, that was my goal. You know, I just wanted to be a hometown hero with this truck, you know, and even, you know, even making up the name, I worked for this farm operation. It was called W. Todd Farms, and I came out of the FFA, Future Farmers of America. And my goal in life was to be the biggest, baddest farmer in the Tidewater area. I never made it there, but I kept on monster trucking. And as I worked for this farm operation, it was family owned. There was a kid there that was my age. We went to the FFA to school together. His name was Gary Todd, and he used to badmouth me in front of all the other employees. And mouth fights about he had a big, nice, shiny F-250 truck and all the KC lights and all the shiny stuff and anything that, you know, money could get. And you could bolt it on, you could. And at the time, I was working on an old 51 Ford truck with a 327 Chevrolet motor in it. And I put a set of 18.4 26 Rice and Cane tractor tires that came off of a combine. And I've been working on this thing for months and months and months, you know, and Gary used to always just flip his mouth off early in the morning at the granary. So we got into a really bad mouth fight one morning at the granary. And with a few choice words, I told Gary Todd, you know, you can shut your mouth. I'm going to take that junk. I'm going to dig you a grave. I took a can of spray paint and I put Gravedigger on the side of that truck. Everybody that worked in the granary operation went, woo-hoo, old Gravedigger. He told them, man. So, and that's how I got started. That's how the name got started.
So do you ever call Mr. Todd on the phone and just remind him that you're doing okay with that old junk?
Hey, look, they all live right up the road from me. Gary he's passed away now, but you know, the whole family knows, man, and they're so proud of me, and you know, they bring people down and they tell the story, you know, a little short story about her, a little argument and how we got going, and so it's proudly told.
You are a pioneer of freestyle, the way I remember the story, because your nickname used to be One Run Anderson. You were a little hard on your equipment. You'd break, but being the showman that you are, you'd go back and fix the truck and come out at the end of the night and do a freestyle exhibition before they called it that, just to give the fans their money's worth.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And seeing back in the day, Dave, you got $750 for the fast qualifier. So you came out your first run, so I figured I'm going to get that fast qualifier. $750 will get fuel in my rig, take care of my crew, get us there, and get us back home. So if I got me covered first, then we were good. Anything after that was a bonus for us. Well, 9 times out of 10, I would win. I would be the fast qualifier. I would blow drive shafts, break transfer cases, sometimes drop a valve, whatever happened. I mean, the thing would be shut down. And I remember my crew would always cuss and fuss me and go, God, dude, why do you drive it so hard? Why don't you just back off a little bit? Let us get past this first round. I said, man, shut up, dude. I got to 750. You know, that's how I looked at it. But I remember the one time when I first really wanted to go out and do a freestyle. I printed up some T-shirts, and my fans have always been loyal, buying, you know, Gravedigger T-shirts and hats and all of that. And I printed up my first batch of T-shirts, and I hauled them around for a couple of weeks. Well, I was breaking the truck, and never even got to go that much, so nobody even, they're kind of like, who wants to buy the Broken Dude's shirt, you know? So I went and told the promoter, I said, look, while y'all are racing, we're going to work back here. You know, I broke a transmission transfer case. We're going to fix all of this stuff. I want to come out, and I just want to do a freestyle. And he goes, what do you mean a freestyle? I said, I just want to run crazy all over the track. I'm going to hit the cars backwards and big steep ramps and pop some wheelies and do stuff like that. And he was like, well, kind of twisted his arm a little bit. And they're like, okay, all right, but it's going to have to be short because the show's ending, you know what I mean? So we got a time schedule to stay on. So we had it ready, man. I was hyped and pumped and ready to go. And I come flying there like a wild man. And I swear it was probably one of the first biggest jumps that I'd done, hitting the car backwards with it. Knew just as soon as I hit it, it's like, here we go, one run Anderson again, thinking in my mind it's going to hit the ground, it's not going to go. The thing hit the ground, it kept going. I was like, oh my God, it's still going. So I just keep driving. The next jump, I'm hitting them harder and bigger, and the thing just ran and ran and ran. I had that Gravedigger God riding with me that night. But I sold the heck out of T-shirts. I sold T-shirts, and freestyle was born to me. It was like, you know, I don't even care about the racing. I want to do this freestyle stuff. That's cool. But that's how it got started.
The Dave Despain Show is brought to you by Carlisle Tools, designed by technicians for technicians. Available exclusively at Napa. And by Lucas Oil Products, made in America and sold to the world.
So tell me more about Bob Chandler and your relationship with him. Were you friends, rivals? Was he a mentor to you? Were you enemies? Tell me about that.
We were probably everything that you just said. You know, in the beginning, he was a guy that I wanted to use to prove myself to everybody that, you know, Bob was a wonderful guy, Bob and Marilyn Chandler. And, you know, and everybody thinks that I hated Bigfoot. I didn't. I love Bigfoot. I thought I was jealous of him because he had all of his equipment was always nice, strong motors. He had everything was just everything that I wanted, you know. And, you know, and of course he had sponsors, he had money, and that made him, you know, a little harder king to knock down. But I just felt like that when I went to race Bigfoot, you know, I had to drive to kick everybody's butt that I'd done anything with. I just wanted to win. I wanted to win. But for some reason, when I'd race them, even when I didn't win, I kind of was okay with myself just because they were so much better than I was. You know what I mean? It was like, I still made him sweat. That's all that counted, as long as I made him sweat. And then when I watched those guys and saw what they had, and I'd come home and I'd put more gussets and more plates on my stuff, and I was just going to drive harder than they could and all of that, because I thought my driving skills were better than them, regardless. I said, man, if I had that truck, I could do this, I could do that. So I did kind of use them for my stepping stone. And then as time went on, and I beat Bigfoot in 1986 on national TV, and it was just kind of a fluke that I beat him. But and I remember the interview, and I'm standing there with this J.C. Whitney fire suit on, with the red stripe down there. It's like a, you know, a $49.95 fire suit, and I see myself. I'm so corny looking. I'm just this young skinny kid, and I'm going, yeah, I just beat Bigfoot, the Kong brothers, and the whole 9 yards. Every time I see my goofy self doing that, but it's great now, you know. But to answer your question, yes, I did. I liked Bob. I liked Bigfoot, and then I hated him. And then I got back to where I got my senses together, and I like them. They're still out there. They don't run our series. But, you know, my hat was off to Bob and still is. He's retired now. But, You know, those guys, they kind of helped me along the way. They don't know it. They didn't just throw it out there for me, but they helped me.
So the evolution has been so dramatic and really comparatively short in terms of the period of time elapsed. Now you're not likely to even touch the cars. You're going to jump the cars and you're airborne, big air backflips, all these things. Are you happy with that evolution? Do you like the direction that the sport has gone?
I absolutely do. You know, there was one point in the game, and it's been, you know, quite a few years back, that we had, you know, ultra egos out on the track with us, and I was kind of, I didn't really care for that as much, you know, because, you know, and I never liked for people to say that it's rigged and it's, you know, it's like wrestling, or it's, you know, like some of the rigged. It's not like that. You know, when you say that to me, it hurts me, you know, because honestly, it's a competition. But I will always tell my fans, enjoy the show. You know, not enjoy the race, because they look at it as it's a show. So I always tell my fans, I'll sign an autograph as they're walking off, you guys enjoy the show, because it is a motorsport show, but there's a competition with us guys behind the scenes that keeps that fire and thunder going for that show.
For all the bonus footage, log on to mavtv.com.
How would you describe your driving style compared to your competition?
There's a couple of different driving styles out there when it comes to an A-Team Monster Jam truck and freestyling. It's some of the older guys like myself, we are, when it comes to freestyle competition, I'm a carnage driver.
A carnage driver?
Carnage driver. I will go out and I just drive the hell out of it and hope for the best. And if it hits the ground and it keeps going, wow, was I good or was I lucky? It's about 50-50. And I just keep going and going and going. And a lot of times, that's when I call it the gravedigger God. Something happens, it flips and trips and comes back around and gets on the wheels, and I keep going. And I'm carnage driving. Then you have people that are GQ drivers. I call them GQ guys. They're points collectors. They'll go out, they'll hit the ramps, set up, stop the wheels in the air, and my boys are a part of that, along with Damon Bradshaw and those guys come from the Supercross side of it. They'll go up, set their trucks up, stop the wheels in the air. It's really cool looking when you see them. It's like they're, and it actually is making the truck do something.
Yeah.
And Adam and Ryan both are good at it, you know, and you know, that's why we're kind of comparing suspension on trucks right now. And Ryan's driving style is putting him over the edge for me, because I'm still the old stand in the throttle and burp it and blah, 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 and fly through the air. And so anyway, there's the GQ drivers and they're points collectors. And at the end of the night, if you weren't really spectacular, they will kick your butt and they never scratch their truck. But this is coming from me. This is my opinion. When you take the old carnage guys out of there and you don't bust some glass at the end of the night, ticket sales is going to go down, boys. So don't get any idea here.
So part of the appeal at the end of the day is tearing up stuff.
Yes, exactly.
Just being wild and crazy.
Right, just wild and crazy, man. Just, you know, driving it in the ground, you know, and that's where I just don't feel like I can not do that. And I'm telling you, I got a brand new truck, Gravedigger number 30, right now, and I debuted it in the Reliant Stadium in Houston. And just a few weeks ago, and you know, I saw that thing. My crew has worked on it, you know, for the last 2 months building this truck, and man, what a beautiful showpiece. And I'm just sitting there in the side of the truck thinking, boy, this is a shame, but I'm gonna tell you right now, this old girl is going in the ground. It's going in the ground, and I do it, and I swear I don't want to, but I have to. I have to.
There's no danger that you'll become a GQ points racer.
No. I know this. I'm too far gone. You know what I mean? I'm too far gone, and you know, and the day is coming. I see those guys that are still using the GQ, but they will finish off with the carnage, a quick carnage ending, and that's working real well right now. And I've noticed that in some of the guys, and I wish they'd knock it off because it's making my job hard.
The Dave Despain Show is brought to you by Carlisle Tools, designed by technicians for technicians. Available exclusively at Napa. And by Lucas Oil Products, made in America and sold to the world.